I went on a 3-day business trip and came back to find 3 used condoms. But here's the kicker. I found a bottle of lube in my wife's bag, the one she swore she was allergic to, and they'd used it right on our marital bed. Then I listened to the recording. They were laughing at me, calling me naive and boring. 7 years of my marriage reduced to the smell of cheap cologne and the creaking sound of betrayal. But I didn't confront them. I'm an engineer, and I upgraded the problem. I replaced that liquid with a special formula. I made sure their final meeting would be witnessed by the whole town. What I did didn't just expose their guilt. It turned those 2 cheaters into broken Oscar statues right there on our wedding bed. And the one who caught them wasn't me, but my mother-in-law. What the hell happened in that room that made them scream for help while covered in shimmering gold? If you've ever been betrayed and had to pretend everything was fine, hit subscribe now. Join us to demand justice from the liars. Comment justice if you believe the truth must always come out. I'm Alex, 36, a software engineer working remotely for a small tech firm on the California coast. Around here, gossip, especially in the parents' group chat, spreads like wildfire. No secret stays secret for long. My wife, Emma, 34, is a high school teacher who always dreamed of becoming principal. Our cozy suburban house used to be our happy place. Our wedding bed was the center of our sweet life, or so I thought. Tuesday morning, I dragged my suitcase through the side gate. I was back from a 3-day software project meeting in San Francisco. I came home early, wanting to surprise Emma. The morning sun streamed through the bedroom blinds, casting hazy streaks on the hardwood floor. I tossed the packaging from a fan I'd replaced into the trash can by the bed. Then I froze. My breath caught in my chest. A cigarette butt sat in the bin. It was still damp, with a pale red lipstick stain, not the soft pink Emma wears. My fingers trembled as I touched it, feeling a strange, recent warmth. A stale, awful smell of old smoke and cheap men's cologne hung in the air, the kind Emma always said was gross when we passed a convenience store. It clung to the room like an accusation. Who was here while I was gone? My heart hammered like a red error code flashing in my system. I knelt down. My eyes scanned the wedding bed. The sheets were wrinkled, a corner of the comforter pulled back in a hurry. Was I imagining it, or was there a slight dent in Emma's pillow like someone had just gotten up? I took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. That men's cologne was everywhere, haunting the room like a ghost. I pulled open the nightstand drawer. The wood groaned in the silence. The condom box inside was missing 3. We hadn't used any before I left. My chest tightened as if squeezed by a fatal system command. 7 years of my marriage summarized in 3 used condoms. Everything blurred except for the terrible glint from a specific bottle. To be sure, I went to Emma's dresser. Her handbag lay among keys and lipstick. My hand shook harder as I unzipped it. The sharp sound of the metal cut the silence. Beneath tissues and pens, a high-end bottle of lube gleamed under the lamplight. The cap was loose, like it had just been opened. I twisted it off. The overwhelming smell of sweet vanilla made me flinch. Emma always complained this stuff made her itch. So who opened this? I stood there, clutching the bottle. Sunlight streamed through the window, making the glitter inside the liquid shimmer like a mockery. The suspicion of cheating right on our wedding bed pierced my heart like a critical bug in the source code. But I'm not the type to hit exit. I'm the type to find the error code and fix it. My way. I'm not the type to flip out instantly. I'm the engineer who reads the manual, backs up the data twice, and checks every variable before running the program. Confront her now? No way. I needed evidence sharper than this pain. Outside, I could hear the distant roar of the ocean waves, but in this room, a storm was already brewing. Instead of making a scene, I decided to verify. I pretended to go on another trip for a week, lying that the project was extended. I hid a tiny voice recorder in the bedside lamp. Modern tech is amazing when you know how to use it. Thursday. I sat in a rental room, earbuds jammed in, clutching a cold cup of coffee. I heard the door open. Then Emma's laugh, the laugh that used to melt my heart, now sliced through me like a knife. The rustling sound, like condoms being taken from the drawer, made my throat tighten. Brad's voice, slick as oil. "What's more fun than using her husband's stuff on this wedding bed?" Emma giggled, a sound like nails on a chalkboard. "Alex is sweet, but he's so predictable." "He's just boring," I bit my lip. The metallic taste of blood filled my mouth. I fought the urge to smash my phone. Brad just said, "What's more fun than using her husband's stuff on this wedding bed?" Every word was a stab. Right then, I didn't think about divorce. I thought about justice. A public verdict. I wouldn't kill them. I'd let them self-destruct. I bit my lip, the metallic taste of blood filling my mouth, fighting the urge to smash my phone. But I knew then, the public sentence I planned for them would be colder than this betrayal. I sat next to Emma in bed, trying to find a shred of hope in her eyes. "You seem distant lately. Is something wrong?" Emma turned away, her voice icy. "I'm just tired from grading papers." "Don't be so sensitive." I wanted to believe her. I wanted to save 7 years of marriage. But when she pretended to sleep, the blue light from her phone lit up the wall. I heard the faint clatter of keys. I waited, breathing heavily until she lightly snored. I grabbed her phone. My hands trembled as I opened a text to Brad. "Alex is trying to fix things. It's so naive. You're still the best." This pretense hurt more than the cheating itself. I looked at the wedding bed, where they laughed at me. What kind of punishment would be enough? That's when I started coding the revenge. The logic was simple. Whatever goes into that lube bottle has to stick longer than guilt. I chose gold, and that's a color that won't wash off for weeks. I upgraded the plan. I researched online. I replaced the lube in Emma's bag with a mixture of bright, non-fading yellow fabric dye, thinned with neutral oil, and added glitter for maximum effect. Condom box? I hid all of them, ensuring they'd have to use my concoction directly. "For peak performance," I muttered, like a mad scientist perfecting a formula. That night, Emma stepped out of the bathroom, wrapped in a towel, acting totally oblivious. "How was your day, honey?" "Same as always," I replied, watching her face for any sign of guilt. Nothing. She deserved an Oscar for that performance. At dinner, she mentioned working late. "There's a big thing coming up. Mr. Brad wants the whole team to pull an all-nighter at a conference center outside town," she said, her eyes fixed on her plate. Brad Thompson, the guy who thought his manager degree made him invincible. "Which conference center?" I asked, sipping my coffee, my voice calm. "Oh, you know, the place by the Highway Hotel with the fancy meeting rooms," she replied, her voice slightly shaky. I nodded, but I knew she was lying. The recording showed they were meeting right here at our house. I pretended to go on another trip, renting a room nearby to monitor the audio app. Everything went according to script. Tuesday and Thursday, Emma would text me about working late, then Brad would show up. I sat in that rented room, earbuds firmly in place, waiting for the moment they'd walk right into the trap I'd set. Under the dim light in the kitchen, I put on the rubber gloves, not to debug code, but to mix up some justice. I discarded violence or lawsuits. I needed a flawless, perfectly legal annihilation of their dignity. Instead, I chose a shimmering, metallic, gold fabric dye, the kind that clings tighter than a curse, thinned with a neutral oil. I mixed it with glitter for maximum visual impact. The thick, shimmering gold looked like a literal declaration of judgment. I poured it into Emma's bottle, sealed the cap, and put it back in her purse. Tomorrow morning, would they fall for it? I sat in the rental room a few blocks away. The weak, fluorescent light flickered on the ceiling, casting my shadow on the peeling wall. My eyes were glued to the clock. The second hand ticked like a drum inside my ribcage. Earbuds in, every sound from my house, now a dramatic stage, streamed directly to me. 20 minutes. That's how long the gold shimmer needed to set deep, clinging like the curse I'd prepared. Sweat trickled down my temple. I gripped the cold coffee cup, the ceramic chilling my fingers. Emma had texted, "Overtime tonight, probably late." I smirked, my breath shaky. overtime, meant Brad was walking into my trap. The front door creaked open through the headphones, a sharp sound like a blade cutting the silence. The subtle whirring of the fan, the one I fixed the other day, now an unwilling witness, blended with Brad's heavy footsteps on the hardwood. His voice was smooth, self-satisfied. "This house is cozy, Emma. Your husband has good taste." Emma laughed, the sharp sound that used to grate on my nerves. They whispered intimate things I didn't care to hear anymore. I leaned closer to my phone screen, the blue light illuminating my face, waiting. The bed started to creak rhythmically. Then abruptly, it stopped. A strange silence. The calm before the storm, then it hit. "What the hell is this?" Emma shrieked. Her voice was shattered, high-pitched like breaking glass. "Brad, my skin. It's gold." Brad snarled, panicking. "Mine too. Is something wrong with that Lube bottle?" I pictured them, shimmering gold like two broken Oscar statues, glitter catching the nightlight, desperately trying to wipe off the stuck color. I heard frantic shuffling, running water nearby, and then Emma's scream, "It won't come off. It won't come off." I gave a slight smile. My heart pounded, not from anger, but from this moment, the moment my trap sprung. Did they realize that shimmer wouldn't fade for hours? I took a deep breath, my finger trembling slightly as I dialed Emma's mother. She lived 5 minutes away. "Mum, please help Emma." I faked a panic attack, my voice cracking like I was about to cry. She just called, said something about hurting herself, locked the bedroom door, and now her phone's off. "I'm too far away. You have to go now. Break down the door and save her." Through the headphones, I heard Emma's mom gasp, her voice frantic. "I'm on my way. Call the neighbors." Keys jangled. The truck engine roared outside. I took a sip of the cold coffee, the bitterness tracing my throat, my eyes locked on the audio app. The sound of Emma's mum screeching her truck to a halt on the gravel driveway boomed through the speakers. Distant sirens wailed, the neighbors were gathering. "Emma, open the door now!" Her mother screamed, tearing through the night. The frantic banging on the door was so hard I thought the wood would splinter. "Break it down!" Emma's mum yelled, mixing with the frantic whispers of the crowd gathering in the yard. Neighbors, her mother's friends, curious parents from the group chat, through the headphones, I heard Emma stammer, "Mum, don't." I'm fine." But it was too late. The sound of wood splintering, the hinges crying out, and then a deafening silence. I held my breath, waiting. The silence lasted 2 seconds. Then a horrified scream tore through the air, not just from Emma's mum, but from the surrounding crowd. "Oh my God, Emma! What in God's name did you do?" Her mother wailed, her voice a mix of terror and fury, as if her family's honor had just been painted gold. I wasn't there, but I knew every detail. Emma, hair a mess, wearing a wrinkled anniversary dress, was gold from head to toe, shimmering like a broken Christmas ornament. Brad, his face bright yellow, frantically pulled up his pants. He looked like a busted Oscar statue, abandoned on stage. They clung to each other, not intimately, but to hide the shimmering skin, which only made the scene more pathetic. Their world just shattered into sparkling pieces of gold. Distant ambulance sirens wailed, mixing with the neighbors' gasps. The teacher and the school manager on the wedding bed? Amidst the chaos and the sirens, one neighbor burst into hysterical laughter, a sharp, ironic sound in the confusion. This story didn't need the press. Who would be the first to upload the video and title it in the parents' group chat? I knew the answer. In this town, the video always wins. I sat in the rental room, a slight smile on my face, my finger tapping the cold coffee cup. 10 minutes until the ambulance reached the hospital. The question wasn't who would win. It was who would be the first to get fired. I walked into the hospital. Cold fluorescent lights glared down the corridor. The strong smell of antiseptic mixed with the steady beep of medical machines. My phone buzzed. Susan from the parents' chat was calling, her voice frantic. Alex, Emma had some kind of accident. She's at the hospital. The whole town is buzzing. I gripped the phone, my finger tapping as if coding the final sequence. I faked worry, but my eyes didn't leave Emma and Brad on two separate gurneys. They were shimmering gold from head to toe, like two broken Oscar statues left after the awards show. The glitter on Brad's forehead, a medal of failure. Emma's mother stood there, hands on her hips, her eyes bloodshot, her screams tearing through the air. "Emma, what did you do on your wedding bed?" "You were my pride, you dreamed of being principal, and now look." Shimmering like a broken toy in front of the whole town. Her voice trembled, not just with anger, but with shame. A couple of waiting patients peered around the curtain. Whispers spread like wildfire. "Is that Emma the teacher? With the school manager?" Emma trembled, clutching the hospital sheet. The gold made her look like a faulty Christmas light. Mom, it's not what you think. It was just a chemical accident, Bad Lube," she stammered, avoiding my gaze, a flicker of regret when she looked at me. "Brad pressured me. I just got carried away." The doctor, clipboard in hand, shook his head. "Fabric dye and glitter. It's going to irritate the skin for a few weeks. It's not an allergy. It won't fade quickly, maybe a few weeks." The EMTs confirmed it. It's fabric dye and glitter, not an allergic reaction. I stood tall and spoke loud enough to be heard. "That's right." "A special formula," Emma still tried. "But I didn't use anything weird. Brad brought the bottle, said it was top shelf." Brad, his face a bright yellow mess, growled, "Don't blame me. Someone intentionally put this in the lube. I'm going to sue." I smirked, stepped closer, my voice calm but sharp. "Sue who, Brad? Sue the person who found your meeting on my wedding bed? Or sue the whole town for recording you shimmering like a faulty Christmas tree?" Emma's mom turned to me, her eyes a confused mix of suspicion and anger. "Alex, what do you know about this?" I sighed, swiping my phone, turning on the voice recorder. "I only know Mrs. Susan called saying Emma had an accident, so I rushed over. But listen to Brad, he wants to sue, but he can't explain why he needed lube and condoms for work on my wedding bed." I emphasized the word work. An elderly patient outside the curtain chuckled loudly, coughing. "What kind of work shimmers like that?" Emma's mum lowered her voice, stepping closer to me, her gaze softening slightly. "Alex, I know Emma was wrong, but give her a chance. I think she still loves you. She was just lost." I shook my head, my voice cold as a razor. "Loves me? On the wedding bed with Brad, you call that lost?" Emma, cornered, covered her face. Tears mixed with glitter streaming down in gold streaks, a tragicomic sight. "Mom, I was wrong," she sobbed reluctantly. A quick look at me was laced with fleeting regret. "But Brad," he pressured me. "I didn't mean for it to go this far." Emma's mom cut her off, her voice shaking with renewed anger. "Pressured you? On your wedding bed, Emma? You embarrassed me. The whole town is watching the video." "What will the school board think?" A young nurse was now openly filming, her eyes gleaming at catching the scandal of the century. Brad tried to sit up, but the IV pulled him back, making him stumble like a failed comedian. "You wouldn't dare leak that recording." "Alex," he hissed, his eyes darting around, already seeing his career crumbling. "Wouldn't dare?" I tilted my head. "Then try explaining to the doctor why you and Emma are shimmering gold in my bedroom, or maybe let the parents' chat explain it for you." "I heard you were already planning on leaving town, right?" The whispers in the hallway grew louder. A voice murmured, "The video's already online." The whole school is buzzing. I stood there, tapping my phone, my eyes scanning the crowd gathering outside the curtain. Would the school board fire Emma before morning? How far would this shimmering video spread? And Emma, would she finally tell the truth or continue her final act? The scandal went viral in the parents' group chat like wildfire. A video from a neighbor titled "The Teacher and the Manager Gold-Dipped on the Marital Bed" exploded on local social media. Parents were furious, demanding firings over the teacher's ethical breach. Emma and Brad couldn't handle the pressure. Hours after leaving the hospital, the dim living room lamp cast long shadows on the old hardwood floor. Emma stood across from me, still shimmering gold from head to toe, like a busted Oscar statue left after the awards. The glitter clung to her skin, a constant reminder of her guilt despite her scrubbing. The wall clock ticked slowly, counting down the last seconds of our broken marriage. She tried to look angry, clutching the hem of her shirt, but her eyes darted away, a hint of regret flashing, as if afraid the light would expose her. "You did this," she whispered, her voice shaky but sharp, trying to regain control. "You knew about us, didn't you? You planned everything." I leaned back in the chair, my finger tapping the countertop, cold as the ceramic coffee mug nearby. "Knew what, Emma?" I asked, my voice innocent, but the corner of my mouth twitched. I enjoyed the moment more than I should have. "Don't play dumb, Alex," she snapped, taking a step closer. The glitter on her cheekbone shimmered like a broken Christmas light. "You put something in that bottle. The one in my bag." I tilted my head, feigning surprise. "What bottle? Your work supplies? Or are you talking about the lube I found in your purse? The one you swore you were allergic to?" Her face crumpled. The gold made her look like a failed goblin, desperate for an excuse. "It's not what you think," she stammered, waving her hand as if to brush away the truth. "Brad pressured me, Alex." "It was only a few times." "It wasn't serious." I stood up, walking slowly towards her, my gaze locked onto her avoiding eyes. "A few times," I said, my voice low but cutting. "On our wedding bed, Emma? Using our money for your little adventure? Or was it when you laughed at 7 years of marriage and called me boring on the recording?" Emma collapsed onto the sofa. The fabric rubbed her skin with a dry rustle. The gold made her look like discarded decor. "How long have you known?" she asked faintly, her voice breaking. Her eyes were teary and glittery with a hint of shame, realizing what she'd lost. "We can try again, Alex." "I was wrong." Tears rolled down, mixing with the glitter, creating a dramatic, pathetic portrait. "Long enough," I answered, sitting across from her, my hand gripping the table edge. "To hear you and Brad laughing at me on our wedding bed. Long enough to come up with a better way." The phone on the kitchen counter vibrated violently. The screen lit up with Brad flashing like an error alert. Emma flinched. Her hands shook as she reached out, trying to snatch the phone, her eyes wide with panic. "Don't answer, Alex," she pleaded, her voice urgent. "He's scared you'll ruin his career." I smirked, my eyes sharp as I glanced at her. My finger tapped the table, coding the final act of revenge. "Let's hear what your shimmering school manager has to say." I hit answer and put it on speaker. Brad's voice boomed in the tense room. "Alex!" Brad roared through the speaker, punctuated by frantic car noises like he was driving in a panic. "You'll pay for that, Lube." "I'll sue you for sabotage for destroying my career." He paused, his voice turning desperate, trembling. "But we can talk. Meet me. I'll pay any amount, just don't send that recording to the school board." I tilted my head. I felt like I had just found an unfixable bug in Brad's system. "Sue?" I replied, my voice calm but sharp as a knife. "Sue for what, Brad? Suing my wedding bed? Or suing the whole town for recording you shimmering like a broken Christmas tree?" Emma trembled, clutching her shirt, trying to interject. "Brad pressured me, Alex. He said it was just fun, not serious." But tears mixed with glitter, making her look like a failed doll, trying to perform a final act. "Fun?" I cut her off, my eyes locked on hers. "On our wedding bed, Emma?" "With the lube you said you were allergic to? Or when you used our money to buy supplies for your meeting with Brad?" Brad, hearing through the speaker, screamed, "Don't drag me into this, Emma." "You, Alex, name your price." "How much to stay quiet?" I scrolled my phone, checking the running audio file, like checking a perfect code execution. "How much, Brad?" I asked, sarcasm dripping. "How much do you think it costs to buy back 7 years of marriage? Or to delete your glittering video from the parents' chat?" Emma slumped onto the sofa, her shoulders shaking with sobs. She buried her face in her hands. The gold shimmer was a pathetic, tragic picture. "You're not being fair," she stammered, trying to deflect. Brad was exciting and you were always busy with your computer. Stop, Emma! I held up my hand, my voice cold as a blade. Don't blame me or Brad. You chose him. You chose to lie. You chose to laugh at 7 years of marriage. And now Brad is ready to pay to dump you. I looked straight at her, then spoke into the phone. Brad, you should worry about your reputation before the school board fires you.
I hear the video is already everywhere.
Brad went silent. Only his heavy breathing was audible over the speaker. Then the call abruptly cut off. The clock ticked in the silence, counting the final seconds of the marriage. What would Brad do to save his shimmering reputation? Would Emma dare face the school board with the gold video all over the group chat? Or would she continue the performance, even though her Oscar statue was already broken? She lowered her head, her gold-flecked face hidden by her messy hair. You were eavesdropping, she whispered, trying to find one last loophole. I was gathering evidence, I corrected, taking out my phone. My finger swiped the screen where the recording file waited.
Evidence for divorce. The word divorce dropped like a sharp blade.
Emma snapped her head up, her eyes red. Divorce, she repeated, her voice shattered. Do you think I would just pretend this didn't happen? Be the oblivious husband so you and Brad could keep laughing.
We could try counseling, marriage therapy, she sobbed, reaching out for me but stopping midair.
People get over cheating all the time. I shook my head, my eyes cold.
Only when both people want to fix it.
All I see is you regretting getting caught, not regretting the betrayal.
If your mother hadn't broken down that door, would you have stopped?
Or would you still be lying, still bringing Brad's cologne home? Emma didn't answer. She just covered her face. Tears soaked her sleeve. The glitter was a persistent reminder of her guilt. The woman on the sofa wasn't my wife anymore. She was a stranger wearing my wife's mask, betraying everything we built. The clock ticked in the silence, counting the final seconds of 7 years of marriage. The woman on the sofa wasn't my wife anymore. She was a stranger. And now the curtain had closed on the act. I got my freedom back. Under the warm kitchen light, I wasn't thinking about the bills or the computers I fixed for Emma anymore. The unfair part wasn't the money. It was spending 7 years of my life just to be made a fool of by my wife and her boss. Under pressure from the parents' group chat, Emma and Brad resigned. No school wants a teacher, and a manager caught up in a shimmering scandal. Emma, who dreamed of being principal, now wears an apron, wiping down tables at a small diner by the highway. She avoids eye contact when familiar parents whisper, "That's the teacher from the glitter incident." The glitter clings to her hair, a constant reminder of the mistake she can't scrub off. Brad, the guy who used to flash his sports car and manager's degree, is hauling boxes in an LA warehouse. He sold the Porsche to pay his lawyer. His co-workers call him Gold Dippin' Brad. They snicker whenever residual glitter catches the light on his shirt. Will they ever escape that gold shadow? The Monday after the incident, I filed for divorce. Emma didn't fight it, maybe out of shame, or maybe she just had nothing left to fight with. I kept the house and most of our assets, a small price for 7 years of lies. 6 months later, my phone buzzed late one night.
Unknown number. Alex, it's Emma? Her voice on the voicemail was shaky, broken up, like she was typing and deleting. I miss how you fixed the fan, how you tried to fix us.
I threw away 7 years of marriage for 6 months of lies.
I was wrong, Alex. I listened under the dim kitchen light, my finger hovering over the screen.
I didn't reply. Was this regret real or just another act? Like a broken Oscar statue trying to shimmer one last time? Some guys hire private investigators or make a loud scene for revenge. I preferred the scientific way, a little chemistry, a lot of patience, and the knowledge that the best revenge is letting people destroy themselves.
I tried to save us sitting on that bed and speaking honestly.
But Emma's dishonesty pushed me to this plan, one final nudge for karma to do the rest. Emma and Brad are now the local cautionary tale. Whenever anyone sees a bright yellow shirt or a jar of food colouring, they chuckle, remembering the gold-dipped couple caught by the mother-in-law. Thanks to Emma's mum, the leader of the door-busting brigade, that story became a local legend. I sat under the kitchen lamp, listening to the night wind outside the window. This town still talks about the gold-dipped couple in the coffee shops, but now I'm known as the smart husband. Maybe tomorrow a parent will see me and giggle in the supermarket, or a new rumor will spark up. I chose gold and now I choose my future. But will this town ever let this story fade, or is another secret waiting for me? Life moves on. I sold the old house, once full of sweet memories, now only echoing the creaking bed and the strange cologne. My new place on the edge of town, under the warm kitchen light, is where I found freedom. Freedom from the lies, from the morning breakfasts with someone who was plotting to betray me. This town still tells the story of the gold-dipped couple in the coffee shops. But I'm the smart husband, the guy who turned his divorce into an art form. Some people say I went too far, that turning Emma and Brad into broken Christmas lights and destroying their careers was too much. But they never heard their wife laugh at their weaknesses with their lover. They never watched their marriage dissolve through every little lie.
I haven't lost a minute of sleep over this.
Maybe tomorrow a parent will giggle when they see me, or another text from Emma will come, full of ellipses and late regret. But tonight I'm sitting in my new house. No more shimmering lube bottles.
I chose gold, and honestly,
it was the right choice. Some wounds no amount of glitter can ever cover. As the story closes, we realize one thing. Every secret, every wound can be the start of a stronger, freer future. Thank you for walking this emotional journey with me. This story isn't just for entertainment. It's a reminder that you deserve the truth and you deserve happiness. In the end, no amount of glitter can cover the pain of betrayal or erase the recording of laughter on a wedding bed. If this story hit your heart, if you believe honesty in marriage is a non-negotiable value, subscribe now to support a community that dares to speak the truth and demand justice. The next story is even colder. It will remind you that not all villains are easily exposed. Did Alex go too far, or was this justice served? Comment now to share your perspective.